Hello, and welcome to Principal Truth. Quick question for you. Have you recently had your boss or your supervisor come down on you for no particular reason? Maybe because they got out of the wrong side of the bed in the morning, or they had an argument with their significant other, or their boss chewed them out for some reason, and it really didn't have anything to do with what your work product is? Well, if that's happened, listen on. We're going to have a few quotes here because this all fits together. Listen on. David Frost said, "Don't aim for success if you want it. Just do what you love and believe in it, and it will come naturally." Dale Carnegie, one of the wealthiest people ever in this country, developed success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the greatest stepping stones to success. Abraham Lincoln, one of our greatest. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. Then Pablo Picasso said, "Action is the foundational key to all success." In other words, if you don't do anything, if you don't take action and get off your duff, nothing's going to happen. And lastly, David Brinkley, "A successful person is one who can lay a foundation from the bricks others have thrown at them." Think about that now. You've been in a position today where somebody has lambasted you, a supervisor of some kind, for something that you didn't do wrong. Now, understand if you get lambasted because you screwed up, well, that's okay. You'll learn from the experience. But if you're getting lambasted for no reason whatsoever, think about this. Wouldn't you prefer to be in a position where you can say to yourself, that's one time too many. That's enough of that. I'm going to do something about this. If you have back pain, joint pain, or muscle pain, please listen to this word. Biomat. B-I-O-M-A-T. That's Biomat. Contact radiantlight10@gmail.com. That's radiantlight10@gmail.com. Let me relate some information that may be very helpful with regard to your own destiny and control and so forth. On my birthday, I was having lunch with some people I'd never met before, but at this particular place you kind of stand in line, and I was alone because my family is not here. They're still at our home up in the middle of the desert. So I got talking with these people, and they invited me to sit at their table, which I thought was very nice of them. It turned out that there was a couple, and then one other gentleman. One gentleman was from Oregon, and then the couple lived somewhere in the Lake Worth area. And we got to talking about business and how we do things and so forth. And it turned out that the two gentlemen were both essentially self-employed people. And one gentleman was very interesting because he was a healthcare professional and not a physician, but actually working directly under a physician doing some very, very important things. And his comment to me was, I've always found it somewhat irritating because here I am doing the really important work while the physician is out in the hallway reading the newspaper. But he said, at least I have control. He said, because I am self-employed. I am an independent contractor. If I don't particularly like working for that particular surgeon, well, guess what? I don't have to. I go work for another surgeon. So it got me thinking about the purpose of doing a discussion here on Principal Truth. And that has to do with the advantages of someone who has expertise, saleable expertise, becoming an independent contractor as opposed to working directly for a particular entity or corporation. And there are some significant advantages. There are significant advantages to the employer or corporation because they are not required, if you're an independent contractor, to pay certain taxes and fees and workers' comp and things like that would otherwise actually increase your cost. For example, it's hard to believe this, but if you look at 100 cents dollar for someone who's being compensated for let's say $1, well, by the time the employer gets done paying for all the stuff they have to pay for, the health insurance, the workers' comp, the Social Security, the withholding taxes, this, that, and the other thing, that dollar that they're spending to pay you, well, it's not $1. It's about $1.40, depending upon what state you happen to live in. And of course, they also don't have 401k matching and so forth. And there are some significant advantages on the other side of the coin to being an independent contractor. In other words, being self-employed. And what we'll do is we'll interview a CPA here who is expert in the area, and we'll talk with him about the advantages of being self-employed, the advantages and disadvantages, because we all want to cover the whole spectrum. But anyway, let's accept for the moment that there are many advantages to being self-employed. And one of those advantages happens to be that you, as an individual, are not under someone else's thumb. Yes, you may sign a contract to work for someone for a period of time, but you are not an employee. And essentially, if you don't like what's going on and you have the employable expertise to use in other places, you can simply say, I'm not here anymore. Or at the end of this contract, bye-bye. That's a much better way than being employed by someone, being very unhappy and getting angry and making one of the biggest primary mistakes that employees make, quitting without having another job. Give it some thought. Well, it puts you in a much better position. So give it a thought about, well, if I have the expertise and I really like what I do, what my expertise is, maybe I should consider becoming self-employed. You'll find in many instances that that position makes you a lot more attractive to people who would otherwise want to employ you, but would say to themselves, with these tough times and cash flow the way it is, I think hiring an independent contractor is a lot more attractive to me than if I had to hire this person as an employee, even though I like the employee. So think about this. Think about this hassle that you've been through today, and think about what Malcolm Forbes said. This is really interesting. He said, failure is success if you learn from it. And on a lighter note, great comedian Jonathan Winters, one of the funniest men who ever lived, he said, I couldn't wait for success, so I went ahead without it. See, the attitude is the key. The whole attitude is the key. So anyway, I want you to give some serious consideration to the whole concept of being an independent contractor, being self-employed, putting yourself in the position where even though you're working for other people and you haven't really set up an entrepreneurial business where you have a store or you manufacture a product or whatever, you still can be your own business person, and it puts you in a much better position as far as control. And I can almost guarantee that you'll be a lot happier in the long run if you become the master or mistress of your own destiny. That's the whole key. Because without that, the whole concept of making a living and going forward becomes a gigantic hassle. These words make a bit of sense, I hope. And if you'd like to comment, you're welcome to. You can respond. You can blog to us. You can call me on the telephone number on the website and leave a message and I'll respond to it. You're welcome to email me. It's entirely up to you because Principal Truth is here for you. It's here to help you find what it is that you're supposed to be doing in life and then get a great deal of pleasure and enjoyment from it. And we'll be continuing to grow and providing you with more and more tools and more aspects of ways to get there. And we don't do it the way most of the people out there do. We don't rah-rah. It's all about the facts. That's why we call it Principal Truth. So join us. Go on the other various audio segments and you'll learn a great deal, I think. And I look forward to having you back again and participating with me. I'm your host, Milton Corey. God bless you.